morning, West Tennessee. It's Wednesday, November 17th. I'm Jason Gaston.
And I'm Vicki Zamata.
Vicki, you have a lot of news this morning, good and bad. Of course, there have been some arrests made in the recent string of robberies here in Jackson.
Yes, and the great news is our guest this morning, Stan Perkins, going to be talking about his father, Carl Perkins, and the music, history of the music, and even more importantly, where the music's going from here.
Stan seems like he should be a legend in his own right.
Stan is. He's a walking encyclopedia.
We'll get to that later, but first we're going to check in with meteorologist Mike McGowan for today's weather. Mike.
Yep, Jason, I was just looking at something very interesting here, a wind chill chart I found on Gary's desk over there, just kind of snooping there, and very interesting, just for a point of reference. Say, for example, temperature is 30 degrees this morning, and the wind's outside between 5 and 8 miles per hour, believe it or not. It is a little wind out there. That would make the wind chill between 20 and 25 degrees, even though it may not feel like it, you know, you may just stepped out of your house, but, it actually feels...
It's really cold, though.
Yeah, it is. And just to give you another point of reference, just real quick, say the temperature was 20 degrees, we could take it down to 25 miles per hour winds. It'd be about 25 below zero. So, I mean, it doesn't take much. You don't have to have a real cold temperature to have a real cold wind chill factor.
It certainly felt like those temperatures this morning.
They're cold out there right now. We have a temperature of around 30 degrees, dew point of 28, humidity 88%, winds northeast at 5 and 10 miles per hour. So that's what the point we're trying to get at. It's about 20 out there as far as a feel-like temperature on the skin. Barometric pressure is at 30.15, and at the bus we're looking for fair and cold conditions, temperature of around 29 degrees. So we'll keep you guys informed on what's going to happen this weekend, some big changes.
Should keep those coats on all day long.
Yeah, probably all afternoon, just today at least.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike. In the news this morning, 4 arrests have been made in the robbery of a local convenience store.
And people are still having problems receiving their child support payments. Are you one of them? These are just a few of our top stories this Wednesday morning. Well, the robbers of a Madison County convenience store are brought to justice. 18-year-old Charles Dwayne Dove of Henderson and 19-year-old Owen Lewis Finch III of Jackson have been charged with aggravated robbery and theft of property. This is in connection with the November 9th holdup of M&M Mini Mart in the Beach Bluff community. The two are also charged in connection with the October 28th burglary of a home in the 100th block of Potts Chapel Road. Also charged in that burglary are 18-year-old Brooke Nicole Goodson of Henderson and a 17-year-old juvenile. The 4 remain in custody. Vicki.
Well, Jason, they've gone without payments for weeks now, and just when families waiting for child support payments thought the day had come, they still came up empty-handed. The Department of Human Services announced Monday that interim payments would be issued yesterday. However, those payments are caught up in a new collection and distribution system. An alternative distribution date for interim payments has not been set. The DHS says those waiting for those checks need to call the agency for an appointment. However, Deborah Revels isn't waiting. She's taken matters into her own hands and seeing results.
And every time they kept giving me the runaround, I just kept doing it. And if you call long enough and you raise Cain long enough, they'll do something. And I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to fight for your own money to get it. Single parents can't live without that child support. And it's hard on our kids. They don't understand.
Ms. Revel says the first step is to determine that the child support is in fact being sent by the other parent or the parent's employer, and the location that it's being sent to. From that point, as long as you are persistent, you can track your checks through phone calls. Where do you call first? The place where the other parent initially sent the check. Jason?
Okay, well, the time is 6:05. Last night was crisp and clear, just right for watching a meteor shower. Will today be the same? Meteorologist Mike McGowan is back in just a minute with your AccuWeather forecast. Stay with us.
Oh, it looks so beautiful. Oh, honey, what's the matter?
Mommy, I can't sleep.
You're just excited about tomorrow, Dan. Back into bed, Tiger.
Come to Lowe's for a great selection of trees and trimmings at prices so low, you won't know when to stop decorating. Lowe's. Great gifts, great prices.
And now, the Jerry Zinger Show.
Today, people reveal secret crushes. Let's meet our first guest, Misty. Misty says she hasn't slept in days since she laid eyes on her secret crush.
It's
it's true, Jerry. I think what really got me going was the rear end.
Jerry! Well, let's meet Misty's secret crush.
If you have a crush on a new car at Donnie Hatcher's Autoplex, let one of their friendly staff know. They'll hook you up and tell them Jerry sent you.
I'm Dr. Franzen. Most of you will never have to deal with having a brain tumor, but we now have the capability here to offer some of the most advanced treatments possible. I have special expertise in the use of stereotaxis, ultrasound, and implanting chemotherapy wafers. Dr. Kovalik and I have brought stereotactic radiosurgery to Jackson. I hope I'll never see any of you for a brain tumor, but if I do, you'll be getting the most advanced treatment possible.
Beat the rush at Electric Outlet's pre-holiday sale. You'll find huge savings in every department at Electric Outlet, like big screen TVs from $1,088, 13-inch color TV, $99, family size refrigerator, $367. Save on a washer and dryer pair, only $496, or choose from over 50 recliners starting at $98. Electric Outlet has all the names you trust: Maytag, Genair, GE, RCA, Mitsubishi, and more. All at Electric Outlet, your hometown superstore, Hollywood at Old Hickory.
Good morning, I'm Suzanne Allison, Director of Marketing and Income Development for the Star Center here in Jackson. Good morning, West Tennessee.
Good morning, West Tennessee. Well, it's about 6:10 and we're looking at the weather outside and it's very nice out there. Well, at least nostalgic, I guess you could say, for this time of year. If you're feeling nostalgic, this is certainly feeling like fall, no question about it. 30 degrees out there, 28-degree dew point. And we don't have a place for our feel-like temperature, so I'm just going to throw it in there for you. Between 20 and 25 degrees is what it feels like with the wind at northeast 5 miles per hour. Barometric pressure is at 30.16 this hour. On the satellite image, still here in the Mid-South, we are all in the clear. That's what's allowing for all this cooling going on over the area, the viewing area, over the past couple of days. Matter of fact, I live in Corinth, and I drove up from Corinth this morning, and temperature over there was 29 degrees when I drove up. So it's probably going to have a low over there around 27. So very chilly indeed, no question about it. You can see those some clouds just off towards our north. There's an upper level low that's spinning further to the north, not going to affect us. Maybe we'll see some high clouds later on this afternoon. That's probably about it. For the most part, we're expecting clear conditions until tomorrow afternoon. Our next frontal boundary makes its way here into the viewing area. More on that in a second. Radar is all clear. You can see Memphis radar, not even any ground clutter at this hour. Clear conditions, though some things will change probably by Friday afternoon. This radar will start filling up, probably with some showers, more than likely extending all the way into Saturday. On the surface map, very chilly conditions down in the south indeed. High pressure still allowing that northeasterly wind to become more even prevalent over the past couple of days, ever so than the past week. We're expecting this to begin to move off towards the east. Now this high pressure, as it moves off towards the east, is going to allow a series of frontal boundaries to begin to make their way towards the viewing area. Eventually they'll make it here probably by Saturday afternoon, and behind the front we're expecting much cooler conditions once again. Today though, 63 degrees east wind at 10 tonight. A low once again in the mid-30s, and in the extended forecast, temperatures holding steady into the upper 60s and back to the mid-50s for highs, and then eventually back into the low 30s for lows. Jason?
Thanks a lot, Mike. Well, the time is 6:07. Should you invest in the stock market or play it safe? Clear Lake joins us in just a minute to help you reach a decision. And if you think your pet is big, then you need to check out this special breed of cat. We'll have more on the Liger when Good Morning West Tennessee returns.
This morning's weather is brought to you by Financial Insights of Jackson.
Paul Latham, president of Latham's Meat Company, an old-fashioned butcher shop. The Latham family has been serving you for the past 37 years, and we would like to continue to serve you.
At Latham's Old Time Butcher Shop and Barbecue, we serve hot plate lunches and breakfast daily, just like Grandma used to make. We will also cater your holiday parties, none too large or too small, with a wide variety of menus to choose from.
We at Latham's Meat Company appreciate your business and wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Latham's Meat Company in Jackson.
I'm Dutch Atchley, your good neighbor pharmacist in Ojai, California. We're on a first-name basis around here. I'm constantly being asked questions, and the truth is, that's why I'm here. This is my store, That's why I can take time to answer your questions. So if I could share one piece of advice, turn to your Good Neighbor pharmacist.
Good neighbor.
Don't miss Puppy Picks each Monday morning during Good Morning West Tennessee. Our Puppy of the Week from the Jackson Humane Society will attempt to pick the winning team from that night's Monday Night Football game. Here's your chance to outguess the puppy. Pick the team you think will win this week's Monday night game and mail it to WBBJ. Each Tuesday, we'll draw from all correct entries for a great prize package from our participating sponsors. Join us for Puppy Picks each Monday morning during Good Morning West Tennessee.
Treasure is found in exotic places by daring adventurers. But for most of us, it's nearby. The Bible. A reminder from Love and Truth Church.
This is the Reuters Business Report. I'm Claire Laka. An interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve proved nothing but a minor irritation for the bulls. The Dow stumbled only briefly on the news before bouncing back for a gain of 171 points on the day, while technology stocks powered the NASDAQ to yet another all-time high. Meeting in Washington, Fed policymakers launched a preemptive strike against inflation, raising key short-term rates for the third time this year. The Fed boosted the federal funds rate, the rate banks charge each other for overnight loans, by a quarter point to 5.5%, while bumping up the discount rate to 5%. The central bank also switched to a neutral stance on monetary policy. Analysts said that could be a sign Fed officials are through raising rates for the rest of the year.
They have suggested that their actions today have dramatically reduced the risk of inflation going forward. I think most people are expecting that they're going to be on hold for a good long while, waiting to see the economic data.
Hopes for that scenario sent financial shares jumping in the session. Shares of Citigroup climbed better than $2 a share in heavy trading, with Merrill Lynch vaulting 5 and American Express up 2 1/4. And checking the final numbers, the Dow sailed above the 10,900 level for the first time in 2 months, ending at 10,932. The S&P 500 charged ahead 25 points, with the NASDAQ back in the record books with a gain of 73 points. And that's the Reuters Business Report. I'm Claire Laka.
Officials expect the Consumer Price Index to show that pipeline cost pressures aren't filtering into prices at the retail level. The forecast is for a modest 0.2% increase, which is down from a 0.4% increase in September. Well, it's not every day you meet someone who keeps lions, tigers, and cougars as pets. We first introduced you to Sandy King and her 2 liger cubs back in May. Ligers are an extremely rare breed, a cross between a tiger and a lion. Baby Cleopatra that you see here is now a hearty 8 pounds and gaining 5 pounds each day. Her brother Caesar, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. He passed away just weeks after we met him. Sandy King continues to dedicate her life to her cats.
You'll find me out here no matter how sick I am or how bad I feel. In the winter months, you'll see me out here every morning at 6:30 in the morning, freezing to death. And then you start seeing, you can tell what time I come out because you start seeing my clothes lining up the fence as I'm taking them off as it warms up.
The ligers were abandoned by their mother at birth, making survival very difficult. In the next 6 months, Cleopatra is expected to grow to be between 150 to 200 pounds.
Now, 7 Eyewitness Sports.
Good morning, West Tennessee. They are ranked 5th in the country. They were a Final Four team a year ago. They are the Freed-Hardeman Lady Lions. Last night at home against the 11th ranked team in the country, Cumberland. Let's head down to Henderson for the action. And things at least started off really well for FHU. Melody Saxon, the three-pointer, freed up 20-13. A little bit more Melody. She's singing true tonight. Saxon, another 3. She had 17 on the night. FHU up 23-13. A little more FHU off the miss. Elam for 2 of her 16. but Freed would end up squandering their lead. Led by Hathaway's 29, Cumberland roars back in half number 2 to pick up the win. Your final score, 65-62. Over at Union night in women's basketball, here's your final score there. They absolutely destroyed Texas 3-27. One other thing we want to tell you about football action. Lambeth in the Mid-South Conference, well represented. First team All-MSC, running back Chris Edwards, Ron Dixon, B.J. Manger, Shelton Jordan, Derek Mitchell, all on the first team, as well as defensive back Noah Lampkins. Also, 6 Eagles named to all-conference second team. Congratulations to them. They, of course, have playoff action against McKendree in Illinois this Saturday. Let's take a look at the rest of last night's scores.
Here's a look at our forecast for this afternoon. We're expecting temperatures to rise into the low 60s for highs starting at 9 o'clock, 48 degrees, sunny skies out there, 12 o'clock, 61. Once again, sunny skies are expected. However, at your drive home, don't be surprised to see some high clouds out there with a temperature of around 52 degrees. Right now, we have 30 degrees outside, dew point of 28, humidity right now at 88%, and our winds are out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, making the wind chill around 20 to 25 degrees. And our barometric pressure is at 30.15. And on the radar, still all clear in the Mid-South, and we're expecting some showers begin to make their way here into the forecast area. Not until probably Friday afternoon, late Friday, and extending all the way into Saturday morning, which is good news because we certainly need the rain here in the viewing area. We'll have more news and weather coming up, but first, here's your day in history.
See news happening, call us at star 77, a free call to Bell South Mobility customers.
This morning's weather is brought to you by Financial Insights of Jackson.
W.S. Butler Furniture is your complete furniture store. You'll find a large selection of everything you need for your home. Flex back chairs starting at $569, recliners starting at $199, lift chairs starting at $699, leather recliners starting at $599, solid wood curios starting at $299, snugglers, sleeper or recliner $599, and sofas starting at $499.
No one will treat you better. W.S. Butler Furniture.
It's sale time at Fleetwood and Patrick Home Center, and we're selling homes for good. Homes for you and good for local charity. Fleetwood, along with Patrick Home Center, will donate $500 to local charity for every new home sold this weekend. Special finance incentives like no monthly payments till May of the year 2000, or $1,000 in holiday gifts, plus a chance to win a free Fleetwood home for the holidays. Come to Fleetwood and Patrick Home Center this Friday and Saturday. We're home for good, giving back to our communities.
Two-timing son of a...
Honey, what are you doing?
We can fix anything. Collision Specialist, Jackson's premier body shop.
As the tax debate continues in Tennessee, some people are asking, what about a lottery? I'm Misty Shea Cole, and no matter where you stand on a lottery or gambling, you don't want to miss my special report, Where's All the Money Going? Tonight on 7 Eyewitness News at 10, and tomorrow on Good Morning West Tennessee. I'll look at how legalized gaming in our neighboring states is affecting us in Tennessee, and if gambling in Tennessee would help or hurt our economy. Where's All the Money Going? Only on 7 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to Good Morning West Tennessee. The time is 6:20. Attorneys meet with Tennessee Supreme Court justices in Jackson. They're trying to establish a method to determine the competency of criminals. In 1986, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that an insane person cannot be executed. Currently, there's no statute to determine the sanity of inmates. Yesterday, attorneys for the state and the defense argued issues relating to the 1987 Jade East murders committed in a Memphis restaurant. Heck Van Tran was convicted for his part in the murders and is awaiting execution on death row. Van Tran's defense attorney claims he's mentally ill and can't be executed. The state attorneys support a streamlined process to identify the sanity of inmates. Both sides say this ruling will set a precedent and have a bearing on future death penalty cases and cases on appeal, including Robert Glencoe's.
The case today involved whether or not Tennessee has a procedure to determine whether a defendant is sane or insane so that he or she can be executed pursuant to a valid order of the court.
I think it will set a precedent. I think that the court will hand down a ruling that will apply to all the future cases where these types of claims are presented.
Lawyers for Robert Glencoe will watch this case closely because the ruling by the Tennessee Supreme Court could have a direct effect on his case. Well, there are many people in West Tennessee who may not have one of life's basic necessities, food, but there's something you can do to help this holiday season. The Jackson Transit Authority is holding its 11th annual food drive to benefit the Second Harvest Food Bank of West Tennessee. Today and Thursday, all JTA riders can donate a canned food item when they board the bus and ride for free. Or you can make your donations of canned food at the JTA office at 241 East Dedrick. Now, for more information, you're asked to call JTA at 423-0200. You know, Vicki, sometimes I get tired of driving and paying for gas. That sounds like a great idea. Just take them some canned food and get a ride for free.
Does sound like a great idea. And we have a great guest with us this morning, Jason. We have Stan Perkins in the studio with us, the eldest son of the late, great Carl Perkins. Good morning to you, Stan.
Good to see you, Vicki.
Always good to have you in here, and we appreciate you getting up and being on Good Morning West Tennessee with us this morning.
Well, I appreciate you asking me, and I appreciate the good coffee here.
Well, thank you. That's just one of our many talents here, making great, strong coffee to get us up and get us going. Stan, you have really been busy the last couple of years, taking care of a lot of things with your father's music. You had the honor, the privilege of touring with your father for many years, taking care of his business affairs. As we mentioned at the top of Good Morning West Tennessee, you're like a walking encyclopedia of music history. What many of us have seen from kind of in front of the glass, you've been back there with making history. When you think of your father touring with him over the years or the influence of the music, what is one of the most, I guess, the fondest memory that you have when it comes to looking back over those musical years?
Oh, gosh, there's so many of them. Of course, I worked with Dad for 22 years, but I guess the thing that stands out the most to me was how he was able to keep his humbleness and come back to Jackson, Tennessee, and still be the same old guy that people would stop by when he was mowing his yard and say hello and all. That always amazed me that he was able to stay on that plane throughout his career. But when I first started working with him, I didn't realize the impact he had on other performers through the years. And you know, for 22 years I worked for him, you take a lot for granted. Of course, being younger when I started out with him, and now that it's been 2 years since he passed away, I go back into my thinking and with my memories and thinking what a lucky guy I was for 22 years to be able to do what I did with him.
Well, Jackson and West Tennessee, we were probably the most fortunate city in the world to have him here. Like many entertainers, he put family first.
Right.
But many entertainers also moved to Nashville or New York or Los Angeles, where they were closer to the music. Mm-hmm. Your father chose to stay in Jackson. Why do you think he did that?
Well, I think that Jackson was his roots. This is where he called home. And I think, you know, it was just as beneficiary to him to stay in Jackson as it was Jackson to have him here. I think it was a trade out. I think he was able to, like I said, keep his humbleness and be the good old guy when he was here in Jackson, be the guy to go play golf, go fishing, and that everybody, you know, could just come and wave to or talk to. And a lot of these guys, you know, they would leave and go to New York or Los Angeles to further their career, which was the place to go. But at the same time, I think they sacrificed a lot by doing that. And the biggest part of them lost their marriages and families. And then, you know, a lot of them got dependent on alcohol or drugs. And he was able to have a balance there with it. He was able to have a good career, but at the same time, to have the stable home life. And being in Jackson, Tennessee, I think, contributed greatly to that.
Well, since your father chose to stay here, what happened was many of the entertainers chose to come to Jackson to visit your father. Just countless people from, we won't even try to name everyone that came in and out of Jackson without people really realizing it. But you were telling me a story about Roy Orbison many years ago. Quickly tell us about that.
Well, this was like in '64. I was like 11 or 12 years old. Roy and his first wife, Claudette, used to come to Jackson quite often and stay with Mom and Dad days at a time. I can vividly remember in '64 Roy and his wife coming down. I can see the car pulling up in the driveway now. It was a new '64 maroon Cadillac, and back then they still had the big fins and all on them. And him coming to the door, my mother going to the door, and us 4 kids looking, peeping around and all. And him asking, said, well, Val, where's Carl at? She said, well, he's gone to England. He'll be gone for about 3 weeks. He said, I really wanted to see him. Said, I've got this song that I've just written and just recorded, and I wanted him to listen to it and tell me what he thinks about it. And she said, well, just bring it on in. Said, I got my tape recorder out in the car. And I can see it just like it was yesterday, him setting up that tape recorder and had a little old reel-to-reel and putting it on there and turning that switch, and then the guitar starting out, dun 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 dun, and it was Pretty Woman. And this was before it was released, before the public ever heard. And he was wondering if he had a pretty decent song there.
I would say so. Well, we're going to take a break. We're going to check out this weather forecast, and later in Good Morning West Tennessee, we're going to hear where this music is going from here and what part you're playing in that.
All right.
You've been very busy with folks like Paul McCartney and the Buddy Holly family, and moving right along.
All right.
And it is time to check in with Mike McGowan in the Weather Center. Mike.
Thanks, Vicki. We'll take a break real quick and look at the forecast for this afternoon. 63 degrees for a high temperature, east winds at 10 miles per hour. We're expecting partly sunny skies all afternoon with the potential of some high clouds later on this evening. Tonight, low of 34 degrees, and there's the high clouds we were just talking about. Nothing to really affect our weather, so to speak, directly. Winds will be calm, and in the extended forecast, very tricky here Thursday through Monday. We have cloudy skies by Thursday afternoon with return of possibility of some rain on Friday afternoon, and then extending all the way into Saturday morning. Now the front comes through Saturday afternoon, and that should cool things off back into the 50s throughout the rest of the week. Cloudy skies by Sunday. Now we're hoping on sunny skies by Monday. Lows will be mainly into the 30s, and then the upper 40s on Friday morning and into Saturday morning. Jason?
Okay, Mike. Well, we're about halfway through the 6 o'clock hour. Are you trying to raise a teenage daughter? And are you having some problems communicating with and understanding her? In part 3 of his series, 7 Ways to Be a Better Dad, Brad Douglas speaks to parents and experts on raising teenage daughters. But first, check out these school menus.
Cowboy Maloney's is located on North Highland in Jackson, Tennessee, across from the old Hickory Mall. Why do I tell you that? Because you're hearing all these radio spots that say, think Cowboy. When you're looking for the very best price on appliances, washers, dryers, TVs, VCRs or camcorders, home audio or car audio, think Cowboy. When you're looking for the best in financing, think Cowboy. When you're looking for immediate delivery, think Cowboy. Whatever you need in Tennessee, it's Cowboy Maloney.
I'm Debbie Curry, director of the One Voice Community Choir. One Voice will be leading praise and worship for a special New Year's Eve service at Oman Arena called Celebrate Jesus 2000.
You're invited and encouraged to join the choir for this unique event.
Practices will be the second Tuesday night of each month from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Practices will be held at Christ the King Church on the corner of Dedrick and Campbell in Jackson.
Hope to see you there.
The best of health from Methodist Lavater Jackson.
The flu shot or the influenza vaccine has been around for a number of years now. The question is, how well is it working?
The flu shot is not a live virus. There's absolutely no chance whatsoever of getting the flu from the flu shot. Flu shot should be given anyone age 65 or older, anybody with any chronic illnesses. I like to give them to anybody who's going to have significant exposure to large crowds in the wintertime. You really do need the flu shot yearly. The protection that you got last year is of no use to you because the virus is changed. We just don't give flu shots to people allergic to eggs, since the virus is cultured in eggs before it's killed.
If you would like more information on this or any other health-related issue, call Methodist Lavater MedSearch at 1-800-467-8686. For Methodist Lavater, I'm Pamela Marshall, helping you have the best of health.
Wednesday morning to you. I'm Vicki Zamata.
And I'm Jason Gaston. Vicki, of course, this morning our guest is Stan Perkins, son of Carl Perkins, and he's already told us the Roy Orbison story twice. He told it once on the show, once to us privately in the newsroom. As many times as I hear it, I'm still fascinated.
He's a fascinating person. I would love to have him on every day to tell us more and more about the music.
Exactly. I'm sure he's got chronicles and chronicles of stories just everywhere.
He's going to share more of that with us later in Good Morning West Tennessee.
That's right. But before we get to that and to the news, we're going to check in with meteorologist Mike McGowan, who is here to tell us about today's weather.
Yeah, I want to point out one more thing here. I'm going to give you some advice. First off, before the storm, that means before the winter storm, and also right at the end of the newscast, I'll give you after the, or during the storm rather. Before the storm, just a few things that are thrown out from the National Weather Service.
Okay.
Know the terms of the storm. That means winter weather advisory, winter storm warning, and so forth and so on. Also be prepared. For example, keep a battery, power radio or flashlights in working order. And also, number 3, be prepared for isolation at home. That means if the power goes out or if no one can get to you, you can't get to anyone else, make sure you have the necessities. For example, they list here heating fuel, and make sure that you limit the amount of heating fuel you use during the storm itself. And finally, but not least here, keep your car or truck winterized. That's number one.
Very good tips. Very good tips.
Make sure that you have flashlight, a blanket, traction pads and chains and so forth and so on. Right now we'll take a look at temperatures. 30 degrees out there, dew point of 28. And it's just some good helpful advice just in case winter is around the corner here. Humidity at 88% and northeast winds at 5. Now at the Buzz, guys, we're expecting a temperature of around 29 degrees. And we'll have some more winter weather tips coming up at the end of the newscast.
Okay, looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Well, dads, coping with the reality of raising a teenage daughter can be especially trying, as you know. It may seem like it was just yesterday when your daughter was a little girl. Now she's maturing and becoming a young lady. Now as a teen, she's trying to figure out men, and you are her closest example of one. The issue of facing or fathering teenage daughters, just one of 7 ways to be a better dad.
For dads, daughters are a joy, but they're also very different than boys. Teenage girls especially are far more sensitive than boys. Early adolescence is a difficult time for girls. Their bodies are beginning to change. They become increasingly focused on being accepted by their girlfriends and noticed by boys.
Dads also have the incredible responsibility of modeling relationships. And I think for daughters, It's fairly common for them to often seek somebody to be in a romantic relationship that's somewhat like their father.
When she was a little girl, you know, she was always there and always at home, and like at this point in her life, she's going a lot of things with her brother, with her friends.
Bob Moore is the father of a teenage daughter, Jordan. He says raising the daughter is much different than raising the son, and says it can be difficult sometimes to relate things to his daughter from a male perspective.
With a boy, I was a boy, so I can kind of cut up and kid with him, and with her it's different. I don't know as much how to talk to girls as do some, because I have to handle her different than I do him, and that's a lot of times I don't always say the right things, or doesn't say what maybe things that I should.
Parenting experts say dads can have an especially important impact on their teenage daughters' lives. Girls look to their dads for information on how boys think and act. Bob says watching Jordan grow up from a girl into a young woman isn't easy.
For every dad, it's letting them grow up, because, you know, as a part of you that wants to keep them little and tell them everything to do, and as teenagers they want to do things on their own. She does go out occasionally with a boyfriend, and that's something that I'm having to adjust to.
Psychologists have also found that dads, unlike moms, have a special gift of being able to encourage their teenage daughters to take positive risk.
There are certain things that moms have to offer that are outside of stereotypes, but there are also certain things that dads can offer based on their life experience, and sometimes even the things that they're presently experiencing in life, such as you know, dealing with business and dealing with relationships with people at work.
He's definitely always there for me. If I ever have any kind of problem, I know he'll be there and he'll be on my side and he'll understand and help me through it. It makes me feel very lucky, because I know some of my friends, their dads have never been there for him, and I'm so thankful that I've had a father that always cared about me.
The main thing is I just want her to know that we're always there for her. She's, I guess you would just say, the apple of my eye.
To find out more about how dads can raise teenage daughters, visit the National Center for Fathering website at fathers.com. Tonight, the fourth part of 7 Ways to Be a Better Dad, with a look at fathers who are divorced, not detached. Well, the time is 6:35. Alan Smith joins us when Good Morning West Tennessee returns.
I'm Alan Smith. There's some hidden benefits to getting the garden cleaned up this time of year.
Well, Slade's is one of 2 restaurants in Jackson that is a historical restaurant with Carl Perkins memorabilia, and we have, I guess, a good American variety. We have salads, we have steaks, we're known for our ribs and our barbecue. We cover a good variety at reasonable prices. Also, the catering business has been a big part of our business. If you tried us at very first and hadn't tried us in a long time, you need to come back and try us, and I think we're better than ever.
Our students tell us they like the small adult student classes 1 night a week. Our students tell us they like the personal academic advising. Our students tell us they want to finish their goal of a degree. Through the Success Program, we are committed to the working adult student, backed by a 157-year-old tradition of Bethel College. If you're 25 years or older with former college credits, you may qualify. 1 night a week in your area, 16 months to a Bachelor of Science degree in Organizational Management. Call 1-877-4-BETHEL for more information today.
There's one thing a woman doesn't want to be stuck without. No, not that. Something more dependable. A good set of tires. And where do you get them? Good Value Tires and Service. We won't try to sell you the most expensive tire or the fastest tire. Good Value Tires and Service will help you pick the right tire for your car and the way you drive. And Good Value features Kelly tires like Kelly High Mileage Premium Aqua Tour. Good Value Tire and Service and Kelly. You can depend on us.
There's an old saying that money talks, but that doesn't tell you very much about how to keep money. It's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep that's important. To have a secure financial future, you need financial insights, and that's why we're here. We offer educational and professional financial consulting. We achieve this type of planning by offering low-cost educational seminars. You must realize it's not only where you invest your money that's important, but how you want to be taxed on that money.
This morning's weather is brought to you by Financial Insights of Jackson.
Hi, I'm Charlie Arundel, Wonderful Club of Jackson.
Good morning, West Tennessee.
Good morning, West Tennessee. 6:37 out there, and temperature is still very cold. If you may be heading out for that morning jog, make sure you pack the gloves and the toboggan. It's going to be very chilly out there on your morning jog. Right now, we're at 30 degrees, humidity at 88%, dew points at 28, northeast winds 5 miles per hour. That's making our feel-like temperature about 20 to 25 degrees. On the satellite image, we're looking at a clear scan across the southeast for the most part. We're picking up some fog. Areas of fog into Florida, extending all the way along the coastal states, extending all the way back into Texas. That's really about it. Some clouds, of course, off towards our north, associated with an upper level low. We could see some high clouds begin to filter into the viewing area over the next few hours or so, but then we'll begin to clear out once again. No precipitation on the map. You can see we had all the cloud cover into Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, and, well, no precipitation under those clouds. So the air is just a little too dry right now, but we are expecting a front to begin to make its way here into the viewing area. We'll just have to wait on that before we'll see any precipitation. Memphis radar still indicating a clear scan, scanning about 143 miles right outside of Memphis. As a matter of fact, that radar site is actually in South Haven, Mississippi, believe it or not. On the surface map, here's the old frontal boundary that came through the area. That's really the only thing to really talk about because it's the only thing that's really affecting us because it brought with it an area of high pressure that's delivering northeasterly winds into the viewing area about 9 or 10 miles per hour. Not a stiff wind, but just enough to make a pretty chilly, well, I guess start to the morning. It's not going to stay that way all afternoon. We're going to see temperatures back into the low 60s for highs. We'll have a mess out here towards the west. Which one of these is going to affect us? Well, probably all of them. They'll probably begin to make their way here in a series of frontal boundaries, probably starting with Friday afternoon. We'll see a chance for showers as we tap the Gulf of Mexico moisture. Then back to Saturday, another one will come through, giving us just mainly cloud cover because the other one would have dried things out. And then eventually back to Tuesday, the one way out here will begin to make its way here into the forecast area as well. We're going to expect to see that one begin to give us a chance of showers, but not until the middle of next week. Today, 63 degrees for a high, and tonight of 34 for a low. High clouds out there, and in the extended forecast, temperatures into the 60s and eventually into the 50s, lows into the low to mid 30s, and even upper 40s Friday morning and Saturday morning. Jason?
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, the time is 20 minutes until 7. You probably do spring cleaning in your home, so why not in your garden? Alan Smith shows us how.
Cleaning up the garden this time of year is about a lot more than just making it look tidier. If you'll do just a few extra things along the way as you clean things up, it can make a big impact on your garden next year. For instance, just a few weeks ago, this morning glory was spectacular. Now that it's spent, I'm making sure as I take it down that many of the seed fall to the ground, so they'll come up next year. I do this with many plants in my garden throughout the year that are hardy volunteers, like larkspur, celosia, and globe amaranth. Now there are some things you don't want to come back in your garden, like diseases and pests. If you find problem areas like this, remove them. This even goes for the leaves of your roses that are afflicted with black spot. As you remove diseased materials, don't throw them in your compost bin. This will help keep you from spreading the problem around your garden next year. Now if you're using pruners on infected materials, you might want to clean them by dipping them in a household disinfectant. When I cut back many of my perennials, such as peonies and lilies, I mark them so I'll know where they are in the early spring. By adding a generous layer of mulch to certain parts of my garden, I can keep winter weeds down and sometimes even defy the critics by bringing something through that normally doesn't winter over, like this begonia. The leaves of perennials like these hostas will be the perfect addition to some really rich compost for next year's garden. From the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
For more gardening tips, visit the web at plansmith.com or write directly to Post Office Box 4157, and that's in Little Rock, 72214. Well, it's about 20 minutes until 7. It's time to take a look at some local stocks when Good Morning West Tennessee returns.
elegance, beauty, light. Townsend Lighting Center has been a Jackson tradition for 25 years. At Townsend Lighting Center, you'll find the best from James Motor Crystal, Regency ceiling fans, Westwood lamps, Carolina mirrors and frame prints, Murray Feist, Classic, Elk, Thomas. And the Townsend Lighting Center specialty, customer satisfaction. Townsend Lighting Center, downtown Jackson on Airways Boulevard next to Wallach Music. Townsend Lighting Center, elegance, beauty, light.
Okay, it's a movie. Bride of Frankenstein. Yes.
Oh, we're starting. Oh, okay, we're starting. Okay. Eating. He's in a scarfing it.
Scarface. Jaws. This psycho. His fingers.
Golfing.
Velveeta chili dip. It's Velveeta chili microwave. 2 syllables, all gone.
Sticking out such a big thing.
Babe.
Oh, is it my turn?
Velveeta chili dip. A clean plate every time.
Cowboy Maloney's is located on North Highland in Jackson, Tennessee, across from the Old Hickory Mall. Why do I tell you that? Because you're hearing all these radio spots that say, think Cowboy. When you're looking for the very best price on appliances, washers, dryers, TVs, VCRs or camcorders, home audio or car audio, think Cowboy. When you're looking for the best in financing, think Cowboy. When you're looking for immediate delivery, think Cowboy. Whatever you need in Tennessee, it's Cowboy Maloney.
Around here, you can't buy a reputation for quality. You have to earn it, the way Wall did. Wall invented the first electric clipper 80 years ago, right here in America's heartland. And they're still the choice of millions of professionals worldwide. Today, Wall makes products for home, too. A whole line of clippers, trimmers, and shavers, all backed by the Wall family commitment to innovation and value. That's what being a leader is all about. Wall, bringing quality and value home.
Welcome back to Good Morning West Tennessee. Well, a state income tax gets a boost onto the Senate floor. Yesterday afternoon, the Senate Finance Committee approved a bill that calls for a graduated state income tax by a vote of 6-5. The plan includes a graduated income tax of 1% to 5% and repeals the 6% state sales income tax, or state sales tax rather, on groceries and the hall income tax on certain investment proceeds. It does, however, keep the 6% sales tax on non-grocery items. Legislation on the plan should reach the Senate floor by tomorrow.
Now, 7 Eyewitness Sports.
Good morning, West Tennessee. They are ranked 5th in the country. They were a Final Four team a year ago. They are the Freed-Hardeman Lady Lions. Last night at home against the 11th ranked team in the country, Cumberland. Let's head down to Henderson for the action. And things at least started off really well for FHU. Melody Saxon, the three-pointer, freed up 20-13. A little bit more Melody. She's singing true tonight. Saxon, another three. She had 17 on the night. FHU up 23-13. A little more FHU off the miss. Elam for 2 of her 16. But Freed would end up squandering their lead. Led by Hathaway's 29, Cumberland roars back in half number 2 to pick up the win. Your final score, 65-62. Over at Union night in women's basketball, here's your final score there. They absolutely destroyed Texas College 103-27. One other thing we want to tell you about football action. Lambeth in the Mid-South Conference, well represented. First team All-MSC, running back Chris Edwards, Ron Dixon, B.J. Manger, Shelton Jordan, Derek Mitchell, all on the first team, as well as defensive back Noah Lampkins. Also, 6 Eagles named to all-conference second team. Congratulations to them. They, of course, have playoff action against McKendree in Illinois this Saturday. Let's take a look at the rest of last night's scores.
Here's a look at our forecast for this afternoon, starting with this morning. 9 o'clock, looking for a temperature of around 48 degrees. Sunny skies are expected. And at your lunch hour, 61 degrees with sunny skies continuing. And by your drive home, look for that temperature to be around 52 degrees, clear. And then eventually some high clouds begin to make their way here into the viewing area, say around 6 or 7 o'clock, just only lasting for an hour or so. That's associated with that upper level low off towards our north. Currently, we have a temperature of around 30 degrees, dew point of 28, humidity 88%. Winds out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Barometric pressure, of course, is at 30.15, and that will begin to fall as an approaching front begins to make its way here into the viewing area. On the radar, we are all in the clear in the mid-south. Matter of fact, the whole southeast, not a speckle of rain on the radar at this point. There is a hurricane out in the Caribbean, like to make mention to 120 miles an hour winds. And this Hurricane Lenny moving off towards the east, not going to affect the United States whatsoever. Pretty interesting, Jason.
Sounds like it. Well, if you're headed out the door at 7, you've got about 10 minutes. Good Morning West Tennessee returns right after this break.
Are you ready for some football?
Every Monday night at TJ Mulligan's, it's the Monday Night Football Party brought to you by Suncom, member of the AT&T Wireless Network. Enjoy great food specials, Miller Lite beverage specials, prizes, and entertainment by the Vision 105.3. QB1 contest begins at kickoff with the winner receiving a Miller Lite jacket. Be a part of the party every Monday night with TJ Mulligan's, WBBJ, and Suncom, Bright Idea and Wireless.
At Mid-South Bedding in Medina, we're not factory direct, we are the factory. We've been in business for 15 years making quality bedding. Prices start at $85 twin and $99 full size. Queen and king sizes are also available. At Mid-South Bedding in Medina, custom and odd size orders are always welcome. Mid-South Bedding in Medina, we are the factory. Quality bedding at the area's lowest prices. Credit cards accepted.
Heavenly Ham invites you to have lunch with us. Call or fax in your order, dine in or carry out. Order our boxed lunch, frozen pies, or a variety of condiments. You can't go wrong with a Heavenly Ham, whether half, whole, or by the slice. It's perfect for your family or as a gift. Heavenly Ham is now taking orders for Christmas gifts for employees and clients. We handle all the shipping details, saving you time and money. Call or fax in your order today.
Last summer, many of you sat right here in Pringles Park and cheered our Diamond Jacks on to victory. Perhaps like me, you wondered what it would be like to get out of your seat, step onto the field, and actually get into the game. You couldn't do that, of course, not here, but there is one place in Jackson where you can do that, at the exciting First Baptist Church. My name is Chuck Frazier, the pastor of the First Baptist Church. I want to invite you to get out of the stands and join our team for Bible study and worship this Sunday.
Our guest this morning on Good Morning West Tennessee is Stan Perkins. Good morning to you once again, Stan.
Good morning to you, Vicky.
Now, earlier in the Good Morning West Tennessee program, we talked about Carl Perkins, your father, the impact that he had on the music world and on Jackson, Tennessee through the Exchange Club Carl Perkins Center for the Prevention of Child Abuse in the world of music, influencing everyone from Elvis Presley with his blue suede shoes to Jimi Hendrix, Winona, Garth Brooks. We could go on and on and on. But more importantly right now is where you are going with the music. You are a part of his life, of course, as his son, and also a musician in the band with him, drummer, guitar player, singer, business manager. He put out the Carl Perkins Go Cat Go CD.
Right.
And big things are happening with that now. This has been like 3 years ago, but
Right.
there's news on the front.
Right. Yeah, there's some work going on as far as reissuing this album. This album initially came out in 1996. This was Dad's last CD that he recorded. It has just a smorgasbord of entertainers on there with him. And I've been working with some guys in California, and we're getting major distribution with this thing, and hopefully it will be re-released in the first of next year. Paul McCartney has given his blessings and willing to say, hey man, I'll help you in any way I can with it, and George Harrison. So hopefully this thing will be, everything will work right, and it'll be re-released.
Speaking of Paul McCartney, you were involved in visiting with him just a few weeks ago in New York City,
Right.
and tell us about that.
Right, yeah, Paul does, every year he does a Buddy Holly tribute. He either does it in London, England, or New York, and this year it was in New York. And I got an invitation, my wife and I got an invitation to come up and be a part of that celebration. And we got a couple of days in New York. I got to perform with the Crickets. Of course, Paul was there. My table and his table were there together, and we got to share some memories. And of course, you know, he lost Linda a couple of years ago. He's still dealing with the grief process, and but he's doing well, and we had a great time. It was really a great time.
Now, he has just recently released a new CD, and it includes different songs, one by your father.
Right. I think Paul was wanting to get back to his roots with this latest CD that he did, and he did record a Carl Perkins thing, a thing called Movie Maggots, first song my dad wrote. He was 14 years old. And there's a great story that goes along with that song. Paul said that him and John used to listen to that, but they didn't understand a lot of the lyrics because they were Southern-born lyrics and all. But he said, I always just loved it. It's such a catchy song. So he re-recorded that thing, and it's on his latest CD.
Of course, when he was with the Beatles, they recorded several of your father's songs. And I remember your father telling me the first time that he and the Beatles actually met face to face, and that's really amazing.
64, right? He went to a party that they had thrown in his honor, sure did. And then they cut 3 of his songs the next night in a London recording studio.
Now, Stan, you could have chosen anywhere in the world to perform. You could go just anywhere and put your music out there, and everyone would just be so excited for you to be there. But you have chosen this weekend a place here in Jackson, Tennessee to kind of kick off some music, and tell us quickly about that.
Okay, I'm going to be at Shannon Street Blues Club Saturday night. Of course, that area has a tremendous musical heritage with the blues, and Rob Monk, the owner of the club, approached me and asked me, said, hey man, would you be interested in coming one night and just playing and just having a good time? I said, sure,
Quickly, what time does it kick off?
8 o'clock.
Okay, well, they're giving us a wind down cue there. Thank you so much. We'll see you Saturday night.
All right, thank you.
And don't you go away. We'll be back with more of Good Morning West Tennessee right after this.
It's back by popular demand. Popeye's Crawfish Festival. A big basket of crispy Cajun crawfish served with fries, biscuit, and dipping sauce. Or Popeye's Crawfish Etouffee. Tender crawfish and Creole vegetables simmered in a sauce poured over rice and served with a biscuit. Popeye's Crawfish Basket or Crawfish Etouffee. 2 one-of-a-kind meals starting at just $3.99 for a limited time only.
Visit our Channing Way location inside Exxon on the 45 bypass.
Choose your minivan from the most luxurious Chrysler Town & Country Limited to America's lowest priced Voyager. You'll find it all in a Chrysler or Plymouth minivan. Maybe that's why Voyager won a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 10 years in a row. And maybe that's why more people choose from our family of minivans than any other.
Digital wireless service from Bell South Mobility at just $10 a month.
Well, mine must be yours.
Their lowest rate ever?
Hello? Oh, hi.
Everyone's going wireless. Literally. And for just $10 more, you can add unlimited night and weekend calling or 100 anytime minutes. With prices this low, nothing surprises me anymore.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Brad Douglas. You'll want to join me tonight on 7 Eyewitness News at 6 as my 7-part series, 7 Ways to Be a Better Dad, continues. All this week we'll be taking a look at important issues facing dad these days. How to be more involved with your kids, even if you're divorced. And we'll have tips from experts for dads and moms on how to be better parents in this hectic world. 7 Ways to Be a Better Dad. All this week, only on 7 Eyewitness News at 6.
This morning's weather is brought to you by Financial Insights of Jackson.
Welcome back to Good Morning West Tennessee. I believe Mike has some weather tips for us.
Excuse me, that's right. I need some weather tips for myself there. Yeah, one more thing we want to add during the storm, stay informed, of course. That's most important during the season, avoid getting wet. If you're at your house isolated, make sure you have enough fuel that we were just talking about to conserve your fuel during the winter weather storms, and do not drive when worsening conditions. And the National Weather Service, along with NOAA, and it's right here, fact, folks, it says the official forecast for this winter, Tennessee Valley is expected to increase number of heavy precipitation events and have an increased risk of severe winter weather. So it's going to happen.
And it will get worse.
It's going to
get worse. Well, now here's the 5-day forecast. It looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have some pretty cool weather in the latter part of the week. So.
Sounds great. Well, listen, that's all for us here on Good Morning West Tennessee. We'll see you tomorrow.